Okay, welcome to Spitfire Mods. This video's intention is to go over the final strip teardown of a PS3 coming in for a reflow or a reball, and the cleanup work, showing you how to take it apart from this point forward. It just has the metal chassis, top and bottom, and the back plastics. One thing you can do is pop this back tab off. Just lift up on the two little tabs, hold the top off, and rock it till it releases. Hold it back till it releases. Now we already have the heatsink clamps off, so we're going to pull our power cord to our fan. We're going to take a fine-tipped Phillips screwdriver, remove the two screws on the hard drive cage, and then we're going to remove the battery connector. The best way I found is to grab it with a needle nose and just kind of pry up. Usually the socket comes off with it, which basically plugs in just like the unit would anyway, so that doesn't usually matter. Now, the best way is to take your thumbs, hold against the main frame, and then lift up on the heat sinks. They'll typically snap off like that when it's dry compound, and as you can see, this one is a very typical, and this is what I was hoping for. This is a very typical Y-load unit. So this is going to be an almost guaranteed repair. What you see here is you see the CPU has a fluid and a liquid type substance still on it, thermal compound, but the thermal compound on the GPU has completely baked out and dried up to the point where there's no moisture in it at all. And if you look at the head of both the GPU and cap and the heatsink, you'll see there's really not much thermal compound left. All that moisture leaves and it shrinks down to basically nothing, and there's no real good heat transfer anymore. And the heat transfer ability drops down to the point where the unit's heating up much higher and cooling down much lower, which is causing the solder to crack a lot faster. And this shows you why the GPU is always the problem, and it's not the CPU. A lot of guys say you reflow or reball the CPU. That's never been the case as far as I'm concerned. The CPU is still moist, just like it always has been, and most likely has no problem whatsoever. So once that's off, the best way I found is just to take some dry paper towels and give it a little swirl on there. The compound, the OEM compound that comes from the manufacturer, will actually dry out and cake to the point where it just wipes clean. And it'll do this on this side as well as the board side. Shake it out, get all your chunks out of there, and you'll have a nice clean compound free surface when you're done. Best to throw that in the trash, and then take your rack, take your top half off. It's hinged to the back. Your bottom half. The easiest way to remove this is to just hold the metal frame by the hard drive cage and push up on the USB ports, which just breaks it free. Now this board you can stand up on end, and what we're going to do is go across the top edge with a dry paper towel, go down both sides, removing all the compound we can. And again, on the GPU it's completely dried out. It's just going to basically come off in chunks. Go across all four sides. And then supporting the back of the board, just polish that up with a paper towel. And that's what you'll have when you're done, is a nice clean surface ready for your flux and ready to be reballed or reflowed, whatever you choose.